I'm just a bit burnt out with Marvel Contest of Champions at the moment. Just don't feel like the game's going in the direction that I want it to go in. And I'm just not having fun, so...
OOPSIE! Oh. What's up, everybody? I'm your friendly neighborhood DoolieRay, and we need to have a chat. So this whole situation started yesterday with Seatin making a video talking about how he is burnt out in this game. Now, a lot of these problems aren't very new. They've been in the game for a while, and if I'm being completely honest, I don't know if Kabam's actually going to fix a lot of the issues that we seem to have with the game. I'm trying to be as logical as I can here. I want to respect the dev team on Kabam because I know they work hard. They put out a lot of content, a lot of new content, which for a video game, that does take a lot of work. And when you're dealing with 170 plus characters at this point, you have to test, and there's a lot of stuff to do, and I understand that, but I think the quality of the game could be much higher if there was some maybe extra effort put in, extra thought. Here's what I and many other people are kind of having issue with here. So let's go ahead and take a look at the content that is in this game currently. So first things first, I think Seatin made a big point about Alliance quests and Alliance wars, a lot of which I completely agree with. At this point in the game, the rewards for doing these things don't add up to the level that we're playing at, and it's just the same thing again and again, and it's very, very repetitive. As far as Alliance quest goes, it feels like an actual chore. I don't enjoy doing it. And Alliance wars are very hit or miss. Sometimes I do enjoy them, but for the longest time now, they cost a lot in terms of potions, revives, boosts, depending on where you're at in the game. I'm playing a video game here, and I want to have fun. And if I'm not having fun, I don't want to play these things. But for a lot of the rewards and progression in this game, you do need to be in an alliance, and you do need to be doing these things. It's just, I don't get the same enjoyment out of it that I used to, and to be honest, I don't know what Kabam could do in particular to fix that. So unfortunately, I don't really know there. As far as PvP goes, it's very large scale content, and I wish they would kind of scale it down a little bit, but I don't know what else to do about that. Another thing that Seatin touched on was the story quests and how things have been going so far and where they look to be going in the future. I do have access to the Act 7 beta, and I did go into it for a minute and kind of check it out, go through things, and it really does seem like it's just more of Act 6 at an even higher level than before. So currently, I've gone through Act 6. I had a decent time going through, doing completion. Exploration is definitely going to be a grind, and I think the real unfortunate thing about Act 6 is it's very, very niche in terms of characters that you need to be using for these quests. Now, I'm lucky enough to have Ghost, who is very helpful for a lot of these quests. I also have Aegon, who does come in handy as well, Corvus Glaive. The top tier characters not everybody has, and the fact that this can't be completed unless you have these characters and a very high level of skill, or you're going to be spending quite a lot, and I do spend a lot to go through Act 6 here in a way that's entirely different from anything before it. If we take a look at Act 5, Act 5 was fun. I really enjoyed it for the most part. There are difficult fights in this quest, but you can bring in all of the characters that you have. There's no restrictions. Act 6 has that gate restriction for 4 stars, which is just obliterated any use I have for 4 stars. Now, in the future, I could take 4 stars into Act 6 if they would allow it, and I think it would be helpful. So they could just do away with that whole gate, and I'd be fine with it. That's a big issue that I have with Act 6. They really limit you there because 5 stars and 6 stars are harder to come by than 4 stars. And you know, if you do have the skills and you can go through it with 4 stars, I think that should be allowed. Where they're wanting you to use 5 stars and specific 5 stars at that. So Act 5 though, you know, it has difficult nodes, difficult fights, but it's rewarding for those fights. You don't need to bring in specific characters. The nodes just kind of apply to full-on fights. You know, Chapter 3 has the class restrictions, or not necessarily restrictions. You can still bring anybody in. You're just rewarded if you bring in a certain class type. And I really like that type of gameplay where, you know, you don't have to do something, but you're rewarded for doing something in particular. If we look at Act 6 though, they bump up the level of the characters, they bump up their attack power to the point where if you get hit in pretty much any of the fights that you'll do in Act 6, you're going to die. And the cost in potions, the cost in revives adds up really quickly, and of course this makes money for Kabam, so that's why it's appealing to them. And it's already content that is in the game, and I don't think it's really going to change. So we can pretty much forget about any of that. But coming into Act 7 in the beta here, let's just take a quick look. It really is just more of what they've done with Act 6. With increased attack power. I mean, look at these fights. You're looking at 51,000, and you know, they're not impossible, and we do want difficult content in the game. Don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that we don't want hard content. I want to be challenged. I want things to be difficult. I don't want to just be able to walk through everything in this game. But at the same time, the way that they're ramping up the difficulty and making things challenging is by making them basically impossible unless you have specific characters and you play at the top level at all times, because if you make any mistakes, you are going to be extremely punished. So there are definitely things, and of course we're looking at the beta here. This is not yet actually in the game, but if it's any indication as to what we can expect to see from this game going into the future, I'll be completely honest, it doesn't make me super excited. Unfortunately, because I do want to like this game. I do enjoy this game at times, and it's a part of my life now, as stupid as that sounds. So I'm a little bit worried about that. If I'm honest, Seatin is as well, the community is. I'm hoping Kabam will hear us and make some much needed changes to these quests and the difficulty that they have. I don't just want them to reduce the attack power that the opponents have. I mean, the best fight in the game, in my opinion, is the Grandmaster fight at the end of Act 6. I had so much fun with that fight, and it's the type of thing, it's not a specific, you don't have to use just Ghosts, just Corvus, just Dagon. You can use basically anybody, and it comes down to the skill that you have, and you're rewarded for that skill. You know, you do some major insane damage, and the Grandmaster does have 10 million health. I don't want to see that on every fight in Act 7 or anything, but I think the Grandmaster fight it's a very, very good, rewarding experience, and it would be cool if that could kind of carry over into Act 7 instead of just being this one-time thing in the end of a miserable experience through Act 6. So that's something that Kabam has done right. I'm sure the coding and the development behind that fight was a lot more major than any of these other nodes or anything, but I think that if we take a look at the things that Kabam has done right in this game, incursions are a very new game mode, but the way that they work, if it could be implemented into the future fights of this game, if it could be implemented into Act 7, I think that would be amazing. You know, the idea behind incursions is that as you go along, as you go through difficult fights, you're able to build up your champion's powers with different buffs that you get to choose. And as you're choosing these buffs, the difficulty of the fights increase along with it. So you're doing harder fights, but your champions are getting stronger as well. And I mean, the work is already there. The work is in incursions. I'm trying to look at this from a game development perspective, and making big changes to Act 7 is not going to be easy, but the work is there, and I wish I could see that in other parts of the game as well, because I would very much appreciate and enjoy it. There's a couple other things that I would like to talk about as well that I don't think Seatin really covered here. As far as arena goes, we have not seen any changes to the arena since they made that small change to the rewards, I believe, the milestone rewards, where you get more gold and shards, and I don't remember how long ago that was. I know that the featured 5-star came out in the same month that Killmonger and Gladiator Hulk were released, which I believe was February of 2018. So it's been 2 years now, and there haven't been any real changes. We have 6 stars in the game now where we didn't before, and I think it's time to see some kind of update to Arena where 6 stars are become available, perhaps, or there's a change in rewards. And finally, the thing, and this may be the biggest issue that I have with this game, and I don't think it's something that's going to change, unfortunately, but character availability in this game and how that all works is just very frustrating. This game is incredibly luck-based. You can put in all the work in the world and never get the champions that you want just because you're dealing with a pool of 170 characters and you want one character out of that, and so you're spinning a chance at that character every time you open up a crystal, and that's a bit much, especially when it comes to 6 stars. They really had a chance here to do something better to make the roster more appealing than it is. When I open up 6 stars, I'm not excited. I'm scared. I'm nervous that I'm going to get something that I'm not going to be able to use. At this point, 6 stars are becoming more readily available in the game. They're also becoming the norm of the game as well. And I have not had the most incredible 6-star luck compared to others in this game. I have had better luck than other people have had. Some people have worse 6-star rosters than me. I've opened up a lot of 6 stars, and not a lot of good characters have come out of it. And, for the most part, that's okay, but they keep on adding new characters to the roster. Joe Fixit, Magneto Marvel Now, for example, Iron Patriots in the crystals somewhere. And I just have to question why. The fact that they're still adding entirely irrelevant characters, they're not stupid. Kabam's not stupid. They know who is good in this game. They know who's not good in this game, and yet they are making it harder to get the good characters, which for them makes them money. So, I don't know if they're actually going to stop it. I'm a little bit, it's frustrating, and I wish there was something more rewarding, some kind of system in the game where if you put the work in, you can get a character that you want. You can farm it out, and I'm not saying it should be easy. It's something that shouldn't be easy, or the game would be way too beatable, and you'd get bored with it way too quickly. So there's a couple of things that could be done here. I don't think they're going to be done. I think the Nexus Crystal is a step in the right direction. At least you get 3 chances at a character, but still, at the same time, I think we could take it a step further. Let's say in the arena for a new character, imagine you put in 70 million points, not knowing if you're going to get Aegon or not, and it's not enough points to get Aegon. Well, what if you could put in, say, 80 million points, or 100 million, doesn't really matter, a high number, say you put in that many points, you get the character guaranteed. That's not easy to obtain. That's not easy to get to. I don't know if it's something that I could get to. but the option is there for you to grind it out, to work hard enough to actually guaranteed get the character. That would be a lot nicer than putting in a ton of work and not being sure and then missing out on the opportunity to get a new character. Or take the system from other games where you get like recipes and stuff, and over time you can kind of build up what you need to build an actual character. What if we could get recipes for building crystals that are going to give us a specific character? That would be pretty cool. Just something along those lines. Something more guaranteed than just the RNG fest that this game is. This game is an absolute gamble, and they're asking you to spend money for the chance to maybe, possibly, get something that you want. And for the work that you put into the game, for the quests that you complete, for everything that you do, you're gonna get a chance at the character that you want. And good luck. But I think this is something that a lot of people have an issue with, is the availability of these characters, how this whole system works with RNG, and I don't think that Kabam is going to answer or going to fix, and if they do, that's fantastic. I'll be very surprised if they do, because this is how they make money, so not a lot else to be said about that. But there you go. Those are my thoughts on kind of where the game is at the moment, the kind of improvements I want to see in the future. I'm sorry that a lot of people are feeling burned out. I've felt that way a lot before. I think at this point, I have goals in mind. I want to go through Abyss. I want to go through the rest of Act 6. So I have things that I want to complete. So for me, I do still have motivation to play the game, but I can see for end level players, the future does look a little bleak and a little bit not exciting. I understand that, so it's unfortunate. This is a video game. It's about having fun, and if you're not having fun playing the game, then something's wrong. So I wish Kabam the best of luck getting these issues resolved, and I hope to see the quality of this game improve significantly as well. But those are my thoughts. Let me know what you guys are thinking in the comments down below. If you disagree with me, if you agree with me, just whatever it is, let's have a chat. But till I see you next, hang in there. May the RNG be with you, and peace out.